Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all safe and healthy. So today I'm back at the luxury drive showroom to take a look at the 2022 model of the Porsche 911 GT3 Touring, and in this video I'll explain everything from the exterior design to the interior design, and at the end of the video I'll let you know if the standard GT3 is a good buy or is the GT3 Touring a better choice for you. So do stick till the end. And before we go ahead and talk about the car, I just wanted to give a big thanks to Luxury Drive for allowing me to come here and make the video with the GT3 Touring. So to show my appreciation, I want you guys to go ahead and follow them on Instagram. The link will be in the description below. I'll also be leaving the location link to the showroom right in the description as well, so that if you're watching this video from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, I want you guys to come visit them at the showroom and take a look at their amazing collection, and maybe there might be a car that you like and you can buy it as well. And if you're new to the channel, guys, do leave a like and do subscribe to the channel as well, and do turn on your bell notifications so that you'll be the first ones to know when I upload new videos. And now let's take a look at the 911 GT3 Touring. Alright guys, so here it is, the 2022 model of the Porsche 911 GT3 with the Touring package. So for those who don't know what the GT3 with Touring package or where it comes from, let me just give you a brief explanation. So 5 years ago, Porsche launched the 911R for the 991 generation of the 911, and they had only a limited production of I think 991 only, and people loved it so much that all of the 991 units got sold pretty quickly. So what the 911R was, they basically took a GT3 RS, they stripped out even more weight, they removed the rear wing, and they also gave it a 6-speed manual, and according to journalists it was one of the best driving 911s of all time. And then since people loved it so much, for the 991.2 generation, the facelifted version, Porsche introduced the GT3 Touring. So it was basically a 911 GT3 without the rear wing and some changes to the interior, but basically it was just that, and they didn't do any other changes, and even that was a pretty big hit. So when the 911 was refreshed for the 992 generation, it was a no-brainer for Porsche to bring back the GT3 with the Touring package. So here it is. So like I told you, the GT3 with the Touring package just has no rear wing. It has some differences on the exterior, and they also have some differences in the interior as well. I'll show all of them to you later on, but first let me tell you about the price. So here in Saudi Arabia, the standard GT3 and the GT3 with the Touring package have a base price of 756,000 Riyals, which is quite a lot. But since this particular car is an exclusive manufacturer car, for those who don't know what exclusive manufacturer is, it's kind of like MSO that McLaren has. So if you want to modify the car according to your specification, whatever customization you want or whatever thing you want to customize on the car, they will do it for you. So exclusive manufacturer is kind of like that, and you do get a lot of options with exclusive manufacturer that you don't see on their configurator as well. So that is something you can only do if you visit their showroom and ask for the exclusive manufacturer options. So keep in mind, the base price is 756,000 Riyals, but since this one is the exclusive manufacturer, the price of this car is 1.35 million Riyals. I'll convert it to US dollars for you guys just so that you have an idea. On the configurator, by the way, I tried making the 911 GT3 Touring as close to this particular car as possible, but even after adding all options possible, I could only bring the price of the car to 950,000 Riyals. So this has an extra list of options on that as well to bring the price up to 1.35 million Riyals. And now let's talk about the design. So as you can see in the front, it looks exactly like the 911 GT3. The only change that Porsche have done is that the lower bumper of the GT3 with the Touring package is body color instead of just flat black. So as you can see over here, this particular car is finished in grey. I think this paint is another exclusive manufacturer option, because this particular shade of grey I couldn't find on the configurator. I checked the configurators of almost all the countries in the world for Porsche, but still I couldn't find this exact paint. So I think this is an exclusive manufacturer option as well, like PTS, paint to sample. So that is a feature where you give Porsche a particular color and they will paint your car in that color as well. So I think you understand where that higher price tag comes from. Then on the hood, you can see we have the 2 nostrils from the GT3 again to improve aerodynamics. Then we have the Porsche badge, and coming down you can see we have the lower bumper with the air intakes on the side, all functional, no fakery on Porsche, and you have small front splitter and the front. As you can see right now, only the DRLs are turned on the Porsche LED matrix system. As standard, you have only the normal Porsche LED lighting system, but these ones are the upgraded matrix systems, and they are darkened out as well, because you also have another option package for the GT3 with the touring pack. It's called, I think, touring package, which blacks out the headlights, the window sills, so it basically gives it a much darker or sleeper look, which I quite like. And this is how the headlights look when they are turned on, which look quite good as well. And these are your indicators right at the bottom and on the side, and this particular LED indicator acts as a daytime running light when the headlights are turned on. Then, since we're at the front, we should take a look at the boot space that you get. So to open the boot, you have your key fob. This is wrapped in plastic right now just to protect it, but the key fob is also painted in the same color as the paint on the car. So to open the boot, you have to just use your key fob here. You have your button to open the boot. You hold it and you can see the boot opens up, and there we go. And here you can see the vents that lead up to the nostrils over here on the hood, and you can see the hood is a full carbon fiber hood to keep the weight low. And here's the boot space. So you have 132 liters of space, which is quite good for a sports car. And everyone knows that the 911 is one of the most practical sports cars out there. So you can easily fit around 2 carry-on luggages, which I think is quite enough for a weekend trip. You also have some extra space at the back, like since this one does not have the rear seats, you can store some extra things at the back as well. So let's close this up and take a look at the side now. Here is the side profile of the 911 GT3 with the touring package, and it is similar to all 911s. You have that iconic 911 shape, which looks pretty good and is pretty aerodynamic as well. And you can see the extra options this particular 911 has with the Porsche decal, and you have the Porsche logo in racing yellow. Then you can see the 20-inch rims with the racing yellow pinstripe. So let's take a closer look at the rims. So these are 20-inch rims painted in satin black. You can have them in any color you want. You have silver, you have dark silver as well, then you have this satin black, then you also have a bronze color as well. And then with the satin black, you do have some other finishes as well, like instead of the racing yellow stripe, you can get a shark blue stripe or a red color stripe as well. And the tires on the front rim are a 255 section width. You have a 35 series profile, and at the back you can see this particular GT3 has the Porsche carbon ceramic brakes, so with the iconic yellow calipers, and you can just take a look at how huge these discs are. And as everyone knows, the Porsche carbon ceramics are pretty good as well. But one thing I might suggest, if you are planning to buy the GT3 Touring and you know that you won't be doing a lot of track driving, I suggest you skip the option of the carbon ceramics and just go with the standard brakes, because they are just as good as the carbon ceramics. And the only advantage of the carbon ceramics is that they don't fade as easily as the iron brakes on track, where you repeatedly have to press the brake. You don't usually do that on the streets, so I think it's better to go with the standard brakes that the GT3 comes with. Then on the side, you can see we have the side view mirrors with the flat black over here, and you have the top in body color. If you want, you can get them in carbon fiber as well. The roof is painted, I think it's magnesium, but if you want, you can get a carbon fiber roof as well. And then this is the decal with the Porsche lettering in racing yellow, and those are your side skirts, which is exactly the same as the standard GT3. And this is the exclusive manufacturer badge that I was talking about. So as you can see, Porsche Exclusive Manufacture 2022 Zuffenhausen. So that's the badge you get if you opt for the exclusive manufacturer options. Then we come towards the back. Here you can see at the back we have a 21-inch rim. You had 20 in the front, but at the back you have a 21. And the tire at the back is a 315 section width with a 30 series profile, and again the 21-inch diameter. And you can take a look at the carbon ceramics at the back over here. A little smaller than the fronts, but pretty huge nonetheless. Then let's move towards the back. So at the back is the main difference that you see between the GT3 and the GT3 with the touring package. So as you can see, you have no rear wing that you get on the normal GT3 that has this swan neck design. Here you get the normal rear wing that you get on the standard 911s as well. So I'll just play a clip of how it looks when it automatically pops up. You can manually operate it via the infotainment system, or when you're driving down the road at a particular speed, the wing comes up automatically. And I love the tail lights that Porsche have introduced on the 992 generation. For some reason in the camera it looks pink, but it is red. and then you can see we have the Porsche lettering in black. It comes as a part of the touring package that I told you, which blacks out the window sills and everything. And then here you can see we have the GT3 Touring badge, and that's your engine cover as well. And here's how the indicators look. So the rear bumper is exactly the same as on the standard GT3. You have the functional diffuser along with the center exit exhaust. You have extra vents at the back, and you have another fin to help with the aerodynamics. So overall it looks pretty good, and that's all in the exterior. Let's take a look at the engine bay now. So here's the engine bay of the GT3 with the touring package. You can't see the whole engine because it's covered up, and only the Porsche engineers or the technicians can access it. The only thing you can access is these two things, and you can see we have the 4.0 badge or the 4-liter engine. And let me give you some of the technical specs. So like the standard GT3, you have a 4-liter flat 6 naturally aspirated engine, which sounds really good. We'll take a listen to that later on. You have 502 horsepower or 510 PS, and with that you have 346 pound-feet of torque or 470 Newton meters of torque, which is quite good. You have the option of a 6-speed manual or 7-speed PDK. This particular car has the 6-speed manual, and since the GT3 is quite lightweight compared to the standard 911, this whole thing just weighs 1,493 kilos or 3,291 pounds if you have the manual. If you go for the PDK transmission, then the weight increases to 1,510 kilos or 3,329 pounds, which is still pretty lightweight, and obviously that should be expected from a GT3. And all GT3s are rear wheel drive. So if you're in a manual car, all this package moves the GT3 with the touring package from 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds. And if you have a PDK transmission, then you can do the 0 to 100 in just 3.4 seconds. But as we all know that Porsche likes to understate their things, so most probably it is more like the manual one will do it in 3.5 seconds and the PDK will do it in under 3 seconds. So that's the acceleration, and there's a difference in top speed as well. If you have the 6-speed manual, you have a top speed of 320 kilometers per hour or 198 miles per hour, and if you have the PDK, the top speed drops down to 318 kilometers per hour or 197 miles per hour. So that's all the technical details and the performance details. Now let's move on to the exhaust, and I'll show you how it sounds. So I hope you heard how it sounds. Now I know there is a soft limiter, and the best way to listen to the car is actually when you're driving down the road at its full 9,000 RPM limit. That is the best way to hear this car, but at a standstill you don't get to hear it due to the soft limiters. And now let's take a look at the interior. So to get to the interior, you have your key fob. You just press unlock, and you can see the flush door handles will pop out to help you get inside, and you just open the door that way. So this particular model even has the Porsche courtesy lights right over there. As you can see, the Porsche logo is written right over there, and this particular car is pretty well optioned, and I'll try to show you everything on the interior. So let's take a look. So let's start with the door trim of the GT3 Touring. Compared to the standard GT3, the GT3 with the touring package has a lot more leather because the GT3 comes with race tex or Alcantara, but you get a lot more leather options on the GT3 with the touring package. And let's take a look at the door trim. So up top you can see we have nice and soft leather with the racing yellow stitching. Then here you can see we have this unique pattern that you see over here. It looks like a snake skin or crocodile skin, but the texture looks quite unique and nice. Coming down, you can see we have a little bit of carbon fiber right over here. Those are your door handles in black. That's your central locking. Then we have more racing yellow stitching with more leather. By the way, this whole door trim is covered in leather, and you have leather on the armrest as well. Those are your side mirror controls, window controls. You have a Bose sound system, and you have a small amount of storage right over here. Then moving to the side, you can see we have a carbon fiber sill plate with the Touring written in racing yellow. And these are the carbon fiber bucket seats. As standard, you have the sports seats that Porsche give you. They are 4-way adjustable, but if you want, you can get 18-way adjustable ones as well, or you can go with these carbon fiber bucket seats, which as you can see also have the Touring written on them with the stitching on the sides as well. And the whole carbon fiber bucket is covered in leather. Usually in the middle you get race tex or Alcantara, or you even have the option of cloth, but this one is covered in leather. You can see the carbon fiber at the back over here and over there as well. And at the back you can see we have no rear seats, so you can use that as extra storage. These seats, as you can see, have a manual release for sliding, so you use that lever over there to manually slide the seat forward and back, and you have an electric seat control for your height adjustment. So the only thing you can do is slide it front or back and move it up and down. You can't adjust the backrest. And those are your 3 pedals, so that shows you it's a manual. Here you have your start button and your light controls as well. So now let's take a seat inside and I'll show you around the interior. So guys, I'm in the interior of the 911 GT3 with the touring package, and let's take a look around now. So as you can see, the top of the dash is covered in leather, and you have that same snake skin or crocodile skin like texture along with your racing yellow stitching. You have the sport chrono package, so that's why you have the clock over there, which looks quite good, and even the dial is in racing yellow. And then you can see we have some AC vents up top. That's the top of the dash, as expected from Porsche, pretty high quality. Then moving down, you can see we have carbon fiber right over here, which looks quite good. And here you have more of that snake skin texture along with just some standard plastics over here. And on this side you can see we have the cup holder covered in leather as well, which looks quite good. Then here we have the PCM, or the Porsche infotainment system, and then we have the Porsche digital driving display along with your analog tachometer with the racing yellow dial, which looks quite good. And you have some more carbon fiber on this side along with your light controls and your starter button or starter switch, you can say. Then let's take a look at the steering wheel. So the steering wheel is quite good and small. It feels good to hold. You have a 12 o'clock stripe in racing yellow. You have more racing yellow stitching across the inside of the steering wheel. And behind the steering wheel you can see we have the indicator controls. You have a cruise control stalk right over here, and you have your windshield controls right here as well. The steering wheel is a manual control. Then you can also see we have leather at the back with the racing yellow stitching, and that's the attention to detail you get when you go for the exclusive manufacturer or the exclusive manufacturer. On the steering wheel itself we have some voice assistant controls, your volume control, favorite button and skip button. Here you have your call function, back button, and then here you have your button to go through the display of the digital instrument cluster, and down below we have the drive mode button as well. So let's take a look at the digital drivers cluster now. So as you can see in the center we have a analog tachometer with GT3 written, and when you turn on and off the car, I'll just show it to you. You can see we have the GT3 Touring logo along with the silhouette of the GT3 Touring as well, and when you turn on the car you get all the functions that you need. So here you can see we have the speedometer, you have your time and temperature. Then here you can see on this we have the vehicle information. We have your range, your fuel level, your oil temperature, your oil pressure, your battery voltage meter, and then on this side you have your engine temperature, your range again, and that's your fuel level as well. But that's the standard information. If you want to change that, you can use this scroll wheel over here, and you can go through the different modes. So you can see we have the trip, we have a full navigation bar which covers this section over here. Then here we have a sport chrono that you can use for your lap times or 0 to 100. Then here we have a G-force, tire pressure, gear shift assist that will tell you when is the right time to shift, your performance, like how much power you have used across the rev range. Then you have your driving modes, and you have your track mode, and back to your general vehicle settings. But if you press this button over here, it switches over to this speedometer right over here. You can change the information in that as well. So it shows you your current position, your speedometer, and that's it. That's the only function. Then moving down we have the drive modes like I told you. So you have normal, sport and track. When you go into track mode, the outer displays turn off, so that when you look through the steering wheel, only these two dials are visible to you, so that you don't need to move around and take a look at these dials, because normally when you're driving, the outermost dials are hidden due to this steering wheel rim. And I think the Porsche Motorsport guys know that. That's why they made that change for the track mode. But other than that, it's quite good. And if you press this center button over here, in most Porsches it acts as a sport response button, but here you can change the settings in sport and track. So you choose that. You can go through like different settings. For sport you have the start stop off. You can turn on the sports exhaust system, your auto blip function or rev matching. Then you can choose if you want the rear spoiler to stay up or not. Then you have your track chassis and track view. So track chassis is like the suspension and everything gets stiffer. So if you want that, you can do that from here. Then we just go back, and that's it. So that's all the features in the digital gauge cluster. And now let's move on to the center screen. So here you can see we have a car, media, navigation. Here's your navigation and how it looks. So it's a bit dark. It's not as intuitive as something like the Mercedes system. It's a bit slow to respond, but you have your car settings. As you can see, you can change the drive mode, auto blip function, sports exhaust. If you want to extend the rear spoiler, you can do that from here. And then you have your chassis settings, so you have sport and track, so you can control all that stuff from here. You can also check your trip information, or you have your ambient lighting and stuff. Okay, the ambient lighting is available, but for some reason I cannot see it. It doesn't show up because I think outside there is a lot of sun, so due to that sunlight I cannot see a lot of the ambient lighting inside the car, but you do have it as an option. It will obviously look good at night. So that's all the functions in the center screen. Moving down, you can see we have the nose lift button, you have your damping button, your hazard button, your electronic stability control, and your traction control button as well. Down below you have the AC vents. Then here you have your climate control settings for your temperature control, your fan speed, your volume control. Then here you do have some media controls on each side, and here is the 6-speed manual. It feels pretty good to shift gears in this. You can easily find which gear you want to shift in, and it has a very satisfying click to it. And if you go into reverse, you can see we have the rear view camera, and that's the only view you have. You don't have a full 360 view camera, but that's it. Then moving down, we have a GT3 logo here, and you can see we have the cup holder as well. This is a removable cup holder, so if you want, you can remove that and then you can put it back when you need it. Then there's your electronic parking brake, and you can see we have some more carbon fiber around over here. Then you have a center armrest, but you don't have any storage in it. It's a fixed armrest, but it is quite soft. And this is your glove box. It's lined with felt, so anything you keep inside won't scratch around. Let's take a look over here. So here we have the light controls for your reading lights, and here you have your rear view mirror. Then here's your sun visors along with your vanity mirror and some lights. By the way, the whole roof and the sun visors are covered in race text. I don't think you can option that in leather. And here is the space in the GT3 Touring. So I am a 6'4" guy, or 195 centimeters, and you can see I have plenty of space in the GT3 Touring. This cap is a bit high, that's why it's touching the roof, but if I remove the cap, I do have plenty of headroom. That's not an issue. The only thing is that since I have a larger body size, these bucket seats are a bit constraining for me, but if you're a slim guy, these bucket seats should not be a problem for you. But people who have a larger body size, I think you should opt for the standard Porsche sport seats, not the bucket seats. And also for those who are pretty short in height, I suggest you go for the sport seats as well, because I have seen a lot of complaints saying that these bucket seats make you sit down very low. Because of that, people who have a short height can't see out of the car that well. So that is one thing I'll suggest you guys, that if you are below 6 feet or like below 5'8" or something like that, you should go for the standard Porsche sport seats, because you have a lot more adjustability in terms of height. You don't get that on the bucket seats. But for taller people, I think the bucket seats are a good option. You can see out of the car pretty well. The only thing is that if you're tall and big like me, you should just opt for the sport seats. But if you're tall and have a slim profile, then you're fine with the bucket seats. So that's all I had to say for the Porsche 911 GT3. So guys, that was the video for the Porsche 911 GT3 with the touring package. I know for cars like these, you don't like watching videos that just show you the walk around, like the features of the exterior and interior. You like to watch people driving these types of cars, but unfortunately I can't do that because this is a customer car and it's not meant for test driving, so I can't do that. And over here as well in Saudi Arabia, it's pretty hard to get test drives from official manufacturers as well, because you know, most of the cars are imports, so there are not a lot of test drive cars available. And because of that, people like me don't get an opportunity to drive such cool cars. But maybe next time in the future we'll try that. But what are my thoughts on the Porsche 911 GT3 with the touring package? So personally, I'm a big fan of the GT3, the standard GT3 with the swan neck rear wing. The GT3 Touring is quite nice because it's basically the same car, but I do like the look of the standard GT3 a lot more than the GT3 Touring. But for those who prefer a more understated look, like a sleeper kind of look, the GT3 with the touring package is perfect for them. Many people who might not know a lot about cars, they might think it's just a standard Porsche 911, but people who know about cars will know how special this thing is. If being understated is your style, you should go right ahead with GT3 Touring. But people like me who like stuff like, you know, having big rear wings and stuff, you should go for the 911 GT3. The GT3 RS, which has just newly launched, is a bit too aggressive for me. I think it just the rear wing is too big and the whole body looks pretty aggressive. I don't like that. The GT3 has a nice balance between being aggressive and, you know, having a bit of understated look. So that's why I like the standard GT3 a lot more. But one thing I do like about the 911s in general, that despite me being such a tall guy, I usually can't fit inside sports cars. But this being a 911, and you know, it's a German brand, Germans are quite tall, you get the advantage of having enough room inside the sports car for tall people like me, and that is what I like a lot about the 911s in general. And that's why the 911 is one of my favorite sports cars as well, and the GT3 is my all-time favorite Porsche 911. So that's all I had to say, and I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, do leave a like and do subscribe to the channel as well, and do turn on your bell notifications so that you'll be the first ones to know when I upload new videos. And thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye.